Hey, what's up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. In this episode, I am going to be doing a review of good old Wrestlemania 23. My Wrestlemania 23 comes in this cool exclusive tin that I know nothing about. I just bought it off of Amazon and it came in this, but not everybody has this. I thought this is the way it comes, but I don't know. Honestly, in my opinion, I really don't like the tin because the box that it comes in is the normal box that you would buy off the shelf if you went to Best Buy and this was still on sale, but the tin is bigger than the box and it moves around. It gives you really dented corners and makes you look like you don't really take care of your stuff. But anyways, big story about WrestleMania 23 was WB bringing in Donald Trump there for you. As you can see, him, Vince McMahon, Umaga, and Bobby Lashley had the top billing there on the cover of the box. Also, you had Shawn and John Cena, Undertaker, and Batista on there. Really good WrestleMania. Had a lot of fun watching this. Highly recommended on the road to WrestleMania than I am taking a trip on every night. I have a free night, popping one of these and watching some old classics. But the back of my tin has one of the coolest pictures on there. You got John Cena, Batista, and Bobby Lashley. Why I think this is so cool is because after Undertaker won the Rumble on Raw, they had these three dudes come out and they brought Bobby Lashley out there like there was a chance in hell that Undertaker was like, you know what, I want a shot at that ECW title. But all in all, it's a good show. Run through it real fast and just give you my thoughts and the stuff that I remember. The show kicks off with the Money in the Bank ladder match. It's a real good way to really get you know um, the show flowing. This one was won by Mr. Kennedy. JBL brings up a good fact in there that he's shotgunning up the ranks on SmackDown. He's beaten, forget how many number of guys that he's beaten that were former champions. I'm sure he beat King Booker and Undertaker and some other guys like that along the way. But they were really putting over Kennedy big. Him winning the Money in the Bank ladder match was really cool. He was a guy that I thought was way over. I still am a fan of this guy, even though he is sort of buried in TNA. Over on TNA, he's been out for a while since I guess it was since November or December, and I honestly didn't even have a clue that he was gone. I just thought that they just weren't putting him on TV when I was watching him, weren't heavily featuring him. It was cool that he won it. If you watch his shoot interview with RF Video, he actually says that there was a time when they told him he was going to cash in that Money in the Bank right before he got injured. Then he had to hand it over to Edge, who turned it into cash in. This one might be one of the most star-studded ones. You have former champions in Edge and Randy Orton. Randy Orton has his moment in the sun, reaches RKO and the hell out of everybody in this. King Booker's in there, both the Hardy Boys. Finley. This is a fun WrestleMania match. 19 minutes, just like I said, that it was just it was a good way to kick it off and get the show running. I had a lot of fun watching this one. After that is the I guess it's the battle for brand supremacy is what they called it. Kane versus the Great Khali, and what I thought going in was going to be the worst match ever. I thought this was like a throwback to the gimmick battle royal at the past WrestleMania they did in Houston where they brought up the old gimmicks and stuff like that. I thought this was just on paper going to be one of the worst matches of all time. It was going to go right up on WrestleCrap.com. It's just a horrible Mania match. These guys, you got to give it to Kane. He showed the strengths of Khali, and I really didn't let him show him. Kane was carrying around that chain with the hook on it from See No Evil at that time, so I was really hoping that he was going to kill Khali that night, but somehow they let Khali pin Kane, looking like the huge monster that he is. He actually laid Kane out and stood on his chest, Ultimate Warrior style, for the pin. Not the best match, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be. After that, we have Chris Benoit and MVP. As I've said in the past few WrestleMania reviews, I'm a huge fan of MVP, and this match didn't let you down. Benoit was sort of using MVP as like his pet project, the role that he was supposed to move into on ECW, helping mold guys like John Morrison and CM Punk, getting him ready to move up the ranks, and that's what they were doing with MVP. This whole long story of matches that they had going on was just getting MVP ready to move on to the next ranks, which he never did for some reason. But this is a damn good match. Make sure you check this one out. After that, we go to what should have been the main event that would have made the most sense out of anything. The Undertaker and Batista was the SmackDown show, which is normally the B show, but they had the most steam going into it. They had the biggest storyline going on about who was going to beat who, and I loved this match for the one fact that Undertaker is ready to go from the moment that bell sounds. The bell sounds, and he does the the good old "I'm gonna kill you" thing to Batista. Batista storms at him, and then the fight is on. They beat the holy hell out of each other, and they had what is a damn good match. This could possibly be the start of what became Undertaker's real good matches at WrestleMania. I've always been one kind of guy to sort of knock the streak of not being, what it should be, and people make it up to be a big thing. But, from 23 on, the matches have honestly all been, real good. Everything before that was just sort of like, it's Undertaker and he wins. Mania, no big deal. But this is, one of the greatest hits of WrestleMania. Everybody knows the story about when Batista walked through the curtain that night. He was pissed that they weren't the main event, and how hard they worked and how good of a match they put on. And he yelled out, "Follow that!" After that, I think that was pretty cool that Batista actually worked so hard, even after a match that he lost to the Undertaker, where he lost the World Heavyweight Championship. That he cared about it so much. It shows you that he's one of those guys that doesn't really care about the wins and losses. Just wants to be one of those stars that carries the company at that time. From there, we go to what is the most weirdest thing of all time is the ECW match. How these guys, got on the card is just sort of weird, but they got as many of these guys on there, and I've always sort of shook my head about what they should have done with this. It doesn't make any sense. They had the ECW originals, Rob Van Dam, Dreamer, Sabu, and Sandman. They go up against the New Breed, who was Elijah Burke, Marcus Vacon, Matt Stryker, and Kevin Thorne. Good old Big Nipple Vampire. Ariel was out there. She definitely steals the show for me. Be a highlight to meet her at Wrestle Reunion this year. Don't care how much it costs. But I don't know. This whole storyline was just, the New Breed was, trying to get rid of the ECW originals at one time. This feud involved CM Punk. It almost looked like they were going to fight over him. The CM Punk sort of sided with the ECW originals, turned heel on him one week to join the New Breed, and then the next week they just he sort of acted like it never happened. I think they just thought that was a horrible idea. In my idea, I would have the New Breed go over, to put like a shine on your new stars that you're making in ECW. That was the whole plan of what they were doing, is trying to treat it like a developmental that was on TV. But it was really cool to see guys like Dreamer, Sabu, and Sandman get that WrestleMania moment and actually get their hands raised. But it is pretty cool seeing Matt Stryker in there. He takes one hell of a bump during the match. From there, we go to the battles of the Billionaires. We have Bobby Lashley and Umaga. And to me, this doesn't really sound like it's going to be one hell of a match, but it does have Stone Cold Steve Austin as a guest referee. And he made sure that he was going to be real physical. What I think he was doing was knowing that at any moment the crowd could turn on this match, because it's heavily involved around Vince and Donald Trump. And these two guys are two guys that weren't extremely over in Lashley and Umaga. So he, really gets into it with Umaga right off the bat, gets extremely more physical. I guess he didn't want the WrestleMania 20 thing to happen with Goldberg and Lesnar, where just the crowd just hated it. But that was MSG, and this is Forge Field. But nothing really much to see. It is pretty cool that the barber's chair gets its own entrance. Why they picked the theme song that they did makes no sense, but it's sort of a funny moment to see the it coming down the ramp all WrestleMania 3 style, on the little ramp. From there we go to Melina versus Ashley, which is I don't know. I watched WrestleMania 22 last night. No, yeah, 22. And that one involved Mickey James and Trish Stratus. And that's what a woman's match should be, and that's not what this was. So, I mean, it's only 3 minutes. The Lumberjills are all out there to make sure everybody gets on the card, but yeah, not good. From there, we go to John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, which I don't know. DX was in effect at that time, but Triple H wasn't there because he was hurt. I've always sort of wondered why Shawn used the DX music instead of his own. I think he deserved, that moment to have his own music played, even if it is for that one show. But I guess they wanted to sell those neon glow sticks or something like that. But I don't know. That's just me. I always shake my head whenever he comes out to that, like they played the wrong theme in entrance music or something like that. Cena puts on what is a great wrestling match. Anybody who says that John Cena can't wrestle needs to watch this match because this stuff is good. Almost 30-minute match. Shawn did guide the match. You can tell that he's calling the spots in there, and that shows how good he is. That you get to put all the Cena hater critics out there, but definitely watch this Mania. It is real good, and you won't be you're not gonna walk away thinking that you wasted 3 or 4 hours of your life there for you. But WrestleMania 23, real good to pop in. Definitely recommend this over 25. Yeah, real fun show.